Hey everybody, my name is Ben Keesey and I'm the CEO of Invisible Children. I joined the organization in 2005. After I'd gone to college, I went to UCLA and studied applied math, management, accounting, and then signed a full-time offer with Deloitte for right when I graduated. But in that process, I watched the first movie Invisible Children made, and it was incredibly powerful. It challenged me emotionally, and it also pushed me to action. So after graduating, instead of staying with Deloitte, I decided to link up with the founders of Invisible Children and help them start up the business and the finance and the accountability side of Invisible Children. When we launched KONY 2012, our intention was to share the story of Joseph KONY with new people around the world. But in the process, there have been a lot of questions about us. And so we want to be as transparent as possible and answer some of those questions right now, because our goal has always been the same. It's always been one thing, and that's to stop the violence of the LRA permanently and help restore the war-affected communities. The first thing that we do is make compelling movies and films. I don't do that personally. That's what Jason leads, and that's what he does so well. And the reason for those is we want to make a film and a narrative to connect brand new people to the issue of the LRA, so that we have more and more and more people invested in seeing a successful end of LRA violence. And then once people care, once they see the movie and they start to care, we ask them to get involved. We ask people to share that with their governments so that the international community in the world knows that there's a constituency that cares about seeing the end of LRA violence, so that they do more to make that a reality. Mobilizing the international community takes time. We've seen that. This has been going on for 26 years. So we decided we can't just wait for that. We had to start taking action right away. And we were able to link up with incredible leaders on the ground in these communities, like Jolie Okot, our country director in Uganda, who had a vision for how we as international donors could help support her vision and programs on the ground.
I feel so proud taking the leadership of Invisible Children, because Invisible Children want to invest, one, in local leadership, two, in a long-term development program.
We have different types of programs actually on the front lines of the conflict, in the DRC, in CAR, and where the LRA used to be in Uganda. And so these three things, from making films and a compelling narrative, plugging that into international advocacy campaigns, and doing work on the ground ourselves, that's the model of Invisible Children. In this light, it's been difficult to read some of the comments about Invisible Children. But I understand, because for many people, they just learned about Invisible Children a couple days ago through the KONY 2012 movie. And if that's the case, if all you see is the 29-minute movie, and then you try to go to our website and it doesn't exist because the traffic crashed it, so you're not seeing any information about our programs, you're not understanding that this has been going on for a long time, I think I understand why a lot of people are wondering, is this just some slick kind of fly-by-night slacktivist thing, when actually it's not at all. It's actually it's connected to a really deep, thoughtful, very intentional, and strategic campaign. So because of that, we want to give you as much content as possible, fully transparent from top to bottom. So our responsibility, and my responsibility, is to translate all of that energy, all of those resources that are given to us, and allocate them appropriately to achieve the maximum impact that we can. So since the beginning, we've always put our audited financial statements, our tax return, and our annual report straight up on our website for anyone to download. So here are a few clarifications on our finances. Expenses that are defined as program expenses is money that is spent that directly contributes to the mission. This is what people are looking for when they say what percent goes to the cause. And over the years, using our three-prong approach, we've continually adapted to fill the area of greatest need. Now, sometimes that's been work directly on the ground, sometimes that's been mobilizing the international community, and sometimes that's mass awareness campaigns like what we're doing right now. And last year, our supporters had one of their most successful fundraising campaigns ever for the Protection Plan, our programs on the front lines of the conflict in DRC and CAR.
If there is a radio communication, it gives enough time to save lives.
Tel centre peut acquérir ces affaires-là, les aider à s'intégrer. Je pense que c'est très important.
Now that money's been implemented right now, so it will show up on our financial statements in 2012. And so this type of allocation of program spending is intentional. It is our strategy. It's what we do, and we stand behind it. One specific line item expense that's gotten a lot of questions is the line about travel and transportation. Now, some people have characterized that and said, is that just the management team flying around and staying in nice hotels? No, not at all. That's totally not true. The travel and transportation line includes things that it takes to do our national tours, where we do 3,000 free screenings of our films every year at high schools and colleges around the world. Now this includes the cost for roadies, vans, vehicle maintenance, gas, even the cost of bringing LRA survivors themselves to join the teams so they can share their story personally with young people. And we do all of that because we believe in the face-to-face connection. We believe that that's when human beings looking each other in the eye and saying, let's impact this together, that has a powerful effect. And that's exactly what happened to me when I saw Invisible Children's first film. I will never be the same. Production cost is another line that's gotten a lot of questions. People think that might be the cost it takes to put on events or films or campaigns. It's actually not. It's the cost, it's the hard costs that go into creating the goods that people buy that fund all of our work. So t-shirts, DVDs, bracelets, all of that stuff, that's the hard cost that it goes into that we pay to create those things. Management in general, or expenses that people think of as overhead, are the costs that it takes to run the organization that have no direct connection to the programs. Now, sometimes we're able to actually get grants, or people like to give to management in general and operations because they know it's needed. So, for instance, in 2011, we got a $330,000 grant from a private foundation that was limited to operational expenses. It was for us to build a better data system and build out our operations team. So that's one of the reasons why management in general costs for us went up in 2011. Now, this is actually a really good thing to help Invisible Children continue to be more efficient and to increase the quality of our work for years in the future. I understand that people have questions about our comprehensive model and may question our strategy. But any claims that we don't have financial transparency, or that we're not audited every year by an independent firm, or that we don't have financial integrity just aren't true. Both Jason and I, as the leaders of Invisible Children, know that we do not have the monopoly on truth. We've met with hundreds of people all around the world, especially on the ground, and we've learned a ton. But the cool thing is, there's one thing that everyone agrees on, and that's that Joseph KONY should be stopped. But the problem is that's not that easy. It's actually really difficult. Therefore, the effort to stop the LRA has to be comprehensive and it has to be huge. There has to be a massive amount of individuals and citizens of the world that are invested in that successful outcome, that are asking their leaders, that are asking their governments to do more, to do what it takes, to do the hard work, to contribute the resources, especially since the LRA is in a weakened state. If we can rally now and get our governments to support the regional effort, we can disarm the LRA once and for all. And we want you to know all about the next steps. So we're going to be sending details in the coming days, and we want to answer any question that you have that maybe wasn't addressed in this video. So in fact, just hashtag AskICAnything. You can tweet at us @Invisible, hashtag AskICAnything, and I'll do my best to respond to a couple questions every day so you know all the information, you know everything that's going on as we do this thing together. Thank you so much.